Twitch. I am live streaming this video because I just got to my new apartment and there was a crazy infestation of bugs. We just got rid of it. I really want to give you guys this content, but I'm learning a new editor. Give me some more time. Behold, Chromatic Excalibur. We're going to talk about my Chromatic Excalibur build, both for the weapon, these mods go on your blade, and for Excalibur himself with this mod. This mod came out while I was away for the past week, and some people sent it to me and they were like, dude, look at this new mod. And I was like, that's not real. Nope, that's fine. And then I came back and I checked my mail. And I'm a Warframe partner, so if there's new things that come out besides Prime Access, I get sent them. And I got some mail. Day 1 access, new Warframe augments. Tenno, here's your Day 1 access. Give your Warframes a boost with these new augment mods. Best D.E. Taylor. And look at that, what the fuck? So yeah, it's real. And it's really good. So there are a couple things I want to note about Chromatic Blade first, and then we're going to go over like what the build is, why it's what it is, what I might change, etc. So first of all, Exalted Blade's damage type changes depending on energy color, blah blah blah. That's just like Chroma, if you played Chroma before. So as you can see here, my energy color is orange, and there's a little fire icon next to it, right? You see that there? So that means whatever color I pick, so it's like this orange, so I will pick, like this pink, and it's probably going to be fire, yep. And then I'll pick this, and it's going to be toxin, and then I'll pick this, and it'll probably be electricity, yep. And then if you pick something really bright, it'll be cold. You get the idea, right? So that's how you change the energy color, and that'll change what your Exalted Blade's damage is. So normally, Exalted Blade is a weapon that has damage types, right? It's got like puncture / whatever. And it can, it's got status and crit chance. It has stats. So this changes it from being an IPS weapon into a pure elemental weapon, which is great. And then it says it increases status chance by 50%. So that's additive. It's not multiplicative. Exalted Blade's base status chance is really low. I think it's like 10%. So it's previously been very difficult to get good status chance on it. But with this augment, it's actually very easy. So 50%, it's affected by power strength. So here I've got 150%, so that's already 75% base, which means on top of 10%, I have 85% status chance. And then I also have energy conversion and growing power. So if I have those active, which I will when I'm using Exalted Blade, that'll be 225% power strength, and I will have full status chance, 100% status chance. Pure Elemental Blade, 100% status chance. Think of the damage it did before, and then give it that. Crazy, absolute madness. So the last thing to note is that just like most elemental augments that get added on to your damage, this will add last. So whatever you build in your weapon, these mods get put in your Exalted Blade. And remember, it doesn't matter what weapon you actually use, like what the real weapon is. It only matters because the weapon will have a block percent. Nikanas have 85%, which is the highest. And it matters for Excalibur sword passive, so it should be a Nikana, a sword, a dual sword, or a rapier. Besides that, the stats of the weapon do not matter, so ignore these. But what you don't have to ignore is the damage, so I have Corrosive on this. We got Fever Strike, Shocking Touch, and Focus Energy. Now, I just have Corrosive, so the blade element will be added last. I hope I'm not going too fast, but the idea is that the heat will just be put in the end. So I have heat, it'll get put right in the end, and I'll have heat and corrosive. So this is the build for that. Let me talk about these two builds really quick afterward, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the damage potential here. So this does tons of damage. Let's talk a little bit briefly about exactly what I think this means for the game, because Excalibur is a starter and he's already really good, and now he's even better. He does even more damage. Whoa, big deal, right? No, because you don't need, he was already crushing all the content in the game, and it doesn't really make a difference to do like this much more damage, it's not going to change things much. It just means like in an endurance run, if you play Excalibur, which I feel like you probably aren't overall, he's not bad, he's not great, you'll last longer, which is like maybe not a big deal. I don't know. I would suggest maybe that doesn't matter that much. Just a thought. Anyway, so we're going to spawn in 8 Corrupted Bombards, and we're going to do the highest level I can do, which is 125, because I don't grind Mastery that hard. And we're going to spawn those guys, and we're going to do this. So we're going to fly in, and my Doriga is going to shoot its Artax at a dude, and I'm going to get growing power, because that happens. That works. I'll link a video about that if you're watching this on YouTube that I made separately. And I'm going to slash in. You see everything proxy status, and I either get corrosive or heat. And this is without blinding them. So I'm just showing you, like, you can keep them all stunned forever because you constantly get heat procs and you strip through their armor with corrosive. So they just can't move ever, and they die relatively fast, even though they're level 125. Now what you need to keep in mind is that that was without using Radial Blind, and that's what you would use. So I'm chilling here. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to summon these enemies. Still got my Exalted Blade out with all that power strength. Now I'm going to fly in. I'm going to Radial Blind. They're all blinded. I have a stealth multiplier, and now it's just absolute destruction. Like, look, it's like, it feels like one blade wave will kill them. Look at that. It's insane. Like, it's completely insane. Being able to strip that much armor, and then, you know, okay, so now I'm going to show you one more thing, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later, how you do it. I'm going to show you with focus. Now, I'm not going to use Naramon. They already have the stealth multiplier. I'm actually going to use Madurai. So Madurai will give me the ability to have slash damage on my now pure elemental 100% damage Exalted Blade. And I already have heat and corrosive, so on top of that, I'm now going to get some bleed products every so often. See, there's a slash proc on that guy, he's just going to die. As soon as they get one slash proc, they'll die. See, you saw a few in there. If you look very closely, you can see them happening. There's a slash proc on that guy. These guys aren't even blinded. Slash procs on those guys, they're dead. Maybe even heat procking for a little bit. There we go. Absolutely destructive. And you saw for some of those guys, they'd get a slash proc early, and then they would just die like insanely fast. So anyway, totally nuts. Now that you've seen like how much damage it does, let's talk a little bit about what the builds are and why they're that way. So, Excalibur himself. Obviously, we want lots of power strength if we can, but the most important thing is to get quality of life. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. The most important thing for this build is quality of life, because Exalted Blade with this build already does so much damage. You do not need to put on Intensify and Blind Rage. You're crazy. You don't need that. You do not need that. With that much damage, you really don't need that. What you really need is high efficiency, decent duration, a little bit of range to make the Blade Wave fall off not as hard, and to make Radial Blind more usable. This also makes the free blind, or not free, but the like half Radial Blind that you do when you do a slide attack with Exalted Blade, talking about this thing, that costs half and has like half the range-ish, and that makes that, you know, much more usable too. And then we also have Vitality and Steel Fiber. So Exalted Blade blocks a lot of damage from the front, a lot of damage you take from the front, but you're still going to want a good overhead of health, right? So we get 740, pretty good. These are max Vitality and Steel Fiber, but still, you know, okay, it'll be a good amount. And then armor. Excalibur has pretty good armor, 225 base armor. So this will give you a decent 472. It's not bad. And on top of your frontal damage reduction with Exalted Blade, it's going to be great. Totally great. So, besides that, we've got Chromatic Blade, of course. We got those quality of life augments I was talking about before. And then these are our power strength mods. These two mods give you very little downside, needing to get an energy orb once ever before you use your Exalted Blade, because that 50% will last the whole cast. And only 25% duration reduction for some power strength, pretty good. And then status effects give you 25% power strength as well, like pretty good, right? So, and this is in your aura slot. So that's pretty good. That gives you 225 power strength, and you only used up these 3 slots, and now you have the rest of the build, basically no negatives, just a little bit of negative duration to recoup with the rest of your build, which is fantastic. So I think you should build it like this. I think Firewalker is great. This is pretty much the best Exilus mod if you don't need like a little more power strength or something for like some specific reason. So I recommend that pretty highly. I'm also using fire and it fits the theme, so that's cool. And let's talk about this Nikana Prime build. So once again, I'm using Nikana Prime because the weapon itself doesn't matter. The stats of the weapon will not affect Exalted Blade. These mods get put on your Exalted Blade. They are not for the Nikana Prime. But what does matter is that it be a weapon with good blocking chance in case you want to block while you're out of energy. Nikanas have 85% block, so that's the best. And then also, Nikana Prime is a Nikana, which counts for Excalibur's sword passive, giving you 10% attack speed, 10% damage. So that's why you want a Nikana. Now, this is the build. So we have infinite blade waves, and we can spam them pretty fast from range, which is why I have 2 attack speed mods, Prime Fury and Berserker. So this will make you go really fast. As you saw, it's really fast. We have 100% status chance now, so going really fast is even more valuable than before. We'll get more corrosive procs, which will give us more damage. Great. So, pressure point, obviously. Condition overload. We have 100% status chance. Need I say more? Now, I do want to say, a lot of people use Blast on their Nikana, on their, Exalted Blade build now, and that's perfectly fine. I don't think that's bad. The reason I don't use it is because I find it easier to consistently hit the targets while I'm, flailing around if I don't have them on the ground from a Blast proc, but it's worth noting that when enemies have a Blast proc, they're actually affected by like a knockdown, which counts as an individual status, and then also a blast proc. It counts as 2 for condition overload, so that's good. It gives you a lot more damage. Blast is great, I just personally don't like it, and you don't need more damage anyway, so I don't really care. But it's good, just saying. So, we have tons of corrosive, and life strike. So I think some form of healing is really good. I like life strike because this does so much damage that you can just channel for 1 hit and you'll full health immediately, which is great. You attack really fast, so you really do have to just like tap life strike and then tap it off, because 1 blade wave could drain a lot of energy. Focus energy fits in nicely here. We'll reduce that to only 10 instead of 12 for full rank life strike. That's pretty good. And you also get more electricity for the corrosive that you want. The thing that you should note while building your Exalted Blade mods is you want to make sure that now that you have 100% status chance in just elementals, you want to balance your elements carefully. So if, like me, you're going to use corrosive and heat or blast or whatever, then you want to make sure you have much more corrosive, right? Because when they get heat procced, you swing like 3 times a second, if not more, like very fast, right? So you don't want to get more than 1 heat proc every, 4 seconds or so. But you have a lot of heat damage, Like you could even rework this so it was like the blade is toxin or electricity, and then you go for like 1 heat mod here, just 1, and then everything else is tons of corrosive damage. That might be better. I want the consistent crowd control because I think that keeps me alive better, but I've put no more in. Put a minimal amount of heat in, because you just want a few of those procs. Then you want to be stacking up those corrosive procs, which is great. And condition overload will make it crazy. You'll have a corrosive proc, a heat proc, a cold proc from your Doriga's Artax firing over your shoulder, which is fantastic. Let me show you that build really fast. Here's my Doriga build. It's really nothing special, it's just the mods you would expect. And here's my Artax build, it's absolutely nothing. You can put mods on this weapon to make it good, put more status chance maybe, even though it's really low. But this is just like this to emphasize that you don't need mods on it for it to work. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, I got a separate video about Artax and growing power as a synergy where your Sentinel can proc that power strength for you. So I'll put that in the description, go check that out. Now, this is what I personally recommend. Again, I think that even though you want lots of corrosive procs, not too many heat procs, you do want a heat and corrosive proc in as few swings as possible without like getting way too many heat procs for condition overload. So there's that to consider. And there's also the consideration that you need a heat proc up front so you can crowd control the enemy enough that they can never hit you. Like you don't want that to be like 5 swings in, right? Because then you'll die. If it's like level 150, you'll just be dead. But if it has pretty high heat damage, like the build I have right now, so this is 90%, 90%, 180%, and then we got 60%, so 240%. So my weapon has 240% corrosive to 100% heat, because heat is the base damage, right? So that means that I get about 2.4 corrosive procs to every 1 heat proc. Now that means that if I swing 3 or 4 times a second, it's statistically likely that I'll get a heat proc within the first second that I swing. And you saw that when I tested this, that was true. They basically catch on fire right away, right? And that makes me safe. And then I have both procs that I'm getting from swinging and my great status chance within a second, right? So I think that that's good, that's important. I think you should do that. That's my personal opinion. But you should listen to it and watch me continue to die while trying to test this. But yeah, I'm also testing against bombards, I should say, because they do not have weakness to corrosive explicitly. They have a weakness to radiation instead, so it's a bit more fair. I just wanted to show you like how devastating. Like, look, it's just disgusting. Like, isn't that just messed up? Like, how much damage that does? Like, it's wrong. Like, it's legitimately just wrong. Like, what the hell? Like, it's gross. Anyway, so there you go. Fashion frame for this that you're seeing right now will be on Fashion Frame Fridays, which for my regular viewers, I know that's been gone for a while, but it's coming back, I promise. This Friday, Fashion Frame Fridays. This week, there will be a ridiculous flood of content. I'm sorry I've been gone for so long, people. I missed you. But yeah, we're back, so great. I hope you enjoyed this very much. I hope you enjoy the Fashion Frame at the end of the week. I hope that I can help you in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. I hope the Twitch chat was funny while I wasn't watching it. And I'll see you all next time. This was great. Let's not do this again. I'll get back to like using an editor. Okay, bye.